cables for cash. Optus spends millions wooing Sydney councils.
And the shooters' convoy, the gun lobby, takes to the streets.
The 5 o'clock news with Ron Wilson and Jessica Rowe.
Good evening. First tonight, new clues to the mystery death of a young Sydney model. A fisherman has told police he heard screams at the place where she plunged to her death almost 12 months ago.
It's almost a year to the day that Caroline Byrne was found dead at the base of the gap. It was first thought she jumped, but the coroner ordered police to reopen the case amid new suspicions of foul play. Today, a fisherman who was just 100 metres from Sydney's notorious suicide spot on the night she died came forward with fresh information.
We've been there about half an hour and we heard like a scream, like a lady's scream. 3 blokes turned up. Apparently it was the boyfriend of this girl that they were looking for.
Caroline's family has never understood why a beautiful young model with everything going for her would commit suicide. Police say the fresh evidence offers vital clues, such as the time she may have died. While the answer to the mysterious death of Caroline still eludes police, her fiancé is relieved they may be one step closer to finding the truth.
It's pretty hard to get your life back together when you lose the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. Yeah, I just want to get it all finished behind me, so try and get on with things.
Results of the police investigation will be presented to a coroner's hearing in August. Andrew Kirk, 10 News.
It seems money talks. At least one Sydney council has already signed a deal with Optus, allowing overhead cabling to go ahead. A number of others are considering the multi-million-dollar offer being made by the communications giant.
After months of heated protest from councils over aerial cables, now they're starting to cave in. Bankstown Council has signed a deal with Optus Vision to allow cabling to go ahead in return for $800,000 over 5 years.
We made a decision which says this has merit, the cabling do have problems, and we're trying to get a solution to solve that problem.
The council's asked the state government to set up an underground cable fund and pledged the Optus money will go towards it. Some of the councils are saying privately they realise they can't win, that accepting Optus's money now in the hope of eventually having all the cables put underground is the only option. While most councils have refused to sign, Optus is hoping to reach agreement with another 10 municipalities. It's budgeted $15 million to pay for the program.
It'll be $8 a pole to every council, but the other aspects of the agreement are to do with tree trimming, to do with heritage areas, all of those are different council by council.
Sutherland Council has rejected the proposal for the time being, but blames Canberra for refusing to give local government a veto over aerial cabling.
It's a joke. In the end, we're going to get cabling. We really have no control over cabling happening.
Meanwhile, Optus says it's already cabled 2/3 of Sydney. John Hill, 10 News.
If you've noticed your bill for local and mobile phone calls has gone up, you may have fallen victim to a phantom. Australia's telecommunications watchdog is warning us all to check for short calls, those that weren't answered, but we've been charged for anyway.
The phone, it's the one piece of technology most of us just can't live without. But how carefully do you scrutinise your bill?
Only the FTD.
Well, yeah, it's my money, so I want to make sure it's going to the right place.
According to the Telecommunications Ombudsman, we should all be checking our bills a little more carefully for short calls. Calls you thought went unanswered but were actually connected. The Telecommunications Users Group says mobile phones are particularly susceptible.
It'll usually be indicated in your on your bill that it'll be sort of 7 seconds or 11 seconds or 15 seconds.
Mechanical failure in some old country exchanges are also being blamed, so too PABX systems, which divert calls to another number without you being aware of it. But according to the watchdog, not too many of us are complaining.
Number that would warrant me going to Telstra or any of the other carriers and saying, hey, there's a problem here.
Telstra denies it's at fault.
Quite often a customer will ring up and they will have called the wrong number, or they will have got a fax machine.
So what's the solution? Well, the Australian Telecommunication Users Group suggests the first 10 seconds of our calls should be free.
If you're being charged for short calls you haven't made, complaints can be lodged with your phone company or the Ombudsman. Darren Roberts, 10 News.
The condition of Siamese twins separated by surgeons at the Royal Children's Hospital in Melbourne is improving. Doctors say they're pleased with both Eustocia and Justina, but they're still concerned about the smaller baby's respiratory system. The twins were separated in a 6-hour operation on Wednesday after an emergency flight from Papua New Guinea a week earlier. The girl's mother has been recovering in another Melbourne hospital. Today she visited her daughters for the first time.
This is the First at 5 News Hour. Coming up, rampaging vandals strike an historic church.
New hope of solving a naval mystery, the disappearance of HMAS Sydney.
Welcome home.
And later, Sydney-siders give Barry Manilow a warm welcome.
At 6 o'clock in the morning here. Really, thanks a lot.